Well, today marks 1 year since the Violence Reduction Initiative began in Chattanooga. The goal of the year-old program is to curb violence on our city's streets.
The mayor points to its success, saying shootings are down 26% over the past 6 months. This morning, he joins Dan Kennedy in the Channel 3 studio. It's good to have the mayor here. Dan, good morning.
Good morning to you guys. This week, the City Council voted to renew the city's contract with a consultant for VRI, and today marks 1 year since the first call-in in Chattanooga. Along with enhanced enforcement, call-in meetings are held with repeat offenders to warn them that the shootings must stop. Those meetings are also a chance to offer them an opportunity to change through jobs and counseling. But trust is a big issue and a big obstacle, both with the offenders and the community members. At 6:30, we're happy to be joined this morning by Mayor Andy Berke in the studio. We appreciate being here so early.
Well, oh, of course. It's nice and early. Get a chance to talk with you.
You've been awake for a couple hours.
I've been awake for a couple hours, and then I'll leave here, go to work.
All right, 26% shootings are down, gang member related. We say, or group member related, same thing as gang members. Is that the kind of success you were envisioning a year ago for the program?
Well, what we want to see is a steady downward trend. I mean, we know that one shooting is too much. By the same token, let's celebrate when we see the numbers drop. 26% shootings down is a good number. We want to keep that number going down again, and I think if we do, we should feel good as a community.
One thing you also want to stop is repeat offenders, and I believe one of the best ways to do that is through trust. You talk about the code of silence on the streets and the no snitch culture. Have you seen that improve at all through VRI?
Listen, we've had a really aggressive police presence going into the communities and trying to become part of the communities rather than saturating it. It's really changed things. So we've had Chief Fletcher and others took a microwave to a 93-year-old woman who had had her microwave shot out in her home, installed a new one in. That changes the way people in the neighborhood feel about us, and we're starting to see people talking to us about, here's what happened, here's who's doing wrong in our neighborhood, and here's what we want to see you do.
So you know of specific cases where people have called the tip line through VRI?
Absolutely. It's not just calling the tip line, it's waving an officer down, it's saying to them, listen, here's what's going on, or after something has happened, a shooting, calling us and saying, we know who did it, here's who you should go see. And so what we've seen in addition to the shootings going down is a number of arrests this year for shootings that we hadn't seen in previous years.
Mayor, you also talked about getting jobs for some of these group members as well. Can you talk about maybe how many people have been part of the call-ins in the past year and how many have gotten jobs, and also what kind of jobs we're talking about?
Well, what we do when we call people in is we say the shootings have got to stop. They've got to stop regardless. But we're also going to offer you help. So if you'll call this number, we'll try to get you a job. We've seen 76 of them get jobs. That's been a tremendous success when you think about there's a few hundred people in our community who are doing these shootings. We want to see more, and we've got to see them keep those jobs longer. But we're certainly proud of the fact that the first person who on March 20th called the number still has a job today at that same place and is out of gang activities. That's fantastic.
Mayor, the National Urban League released its State of Black America report for 2015 yesterday, and I want to show some numbers from Chattanooga. This is the median household income, and it compares that disparity between blacks and whites. And also we look at the unemployment rate in Chattanooga as well, and it's almost double for the African American population. Is anything being done with your office, working either in conjunction with the Chamber of Commerce to create jobs for these folks and maybe make life better?
Well, we want to make sure that everybody in our community has a path to opportunity. One of the ways that we do this is to make sure that City Hall leads by example. When I got into office, about 1% of our business that was done through City Hall was done with minority contractors. Today, we're up to almost 15%. That's just in 2 short years. That also builds the capacity for minority businesses to then go out and say, City Hall's a client, why don't you become one as well? It's through acts like that and all kinds of others that we hope to build opportunity in every neighborhood.
With 1 year into VRI, you've had your success stories. You tout 26%. There's also some critics. Dr. Eleanor Woods is one with the NAACP local president. Back on January 1st, we spoke with her, and January 1st was the day when 2 African American men were gunned down in our community, 2 homicides on one day. So we'll keep that in mind for context, but I want to play some sound from Dr. Woods.
We have a state of emergency in our black communities, and so I would not say that things are getting better. I would say that they are not getting better, and that these are some things that we need to seriously look at in combating crime.
She began that by saying we have a state of emergency in the black community. Would you agree with that statement?
I don't. We've seen the numbers drop 26%. Again, we want them to go down farther, but 26% means 1 out of every 4 people that had gotten shot the year before. We've stopped that. We continue to work on this and work with the community. I don't believe that we have a state of emergency. I think what we have is a community that's getting better, that we're going to continue to work hard, that nobody's going to take the progress and say, okay, well, let's stop now. But let's not overstate things. We're making progress. We've seen success stories, and the numbers are going in the right direction.
I imagine working with the NAACP is an important part of this process as well with VRI. How are you going to work with them for this coming year, year 2? Well,
sure. Well, NAACP, since that clip, we've had a number of discussions with them, been to events. What I would say is we want to work with everybody in the community. That's not just the NAACP, that's neighborhood associations, that's community leaders, that's churches, that's schools, because it takes all of us pitching in to really make a difference.
26% shootings are down, group member related. City Council has bought in. You're hoping others do as well, year 2.
Yes, sir.
Any final thoughts this morning?
I think we live in a great community, and we want to ensure that our young people are headed in the right direction. The only other thing I would say is let's keep working on the youth in our community, because we don't want to end up in a situation where we're having to stop them from doing the shootings. We would never want them to get on that track in the first place.
It starts at a young age and it starts at home. Mayor, we appreciate you being here this morning. Thank you very much. That's a wrap with our interview with the mayor. We'll have this all posted online a little later. We thank you for watching. Here's Jen Latrice.